Was
fire
it
capacity.
specifically in relationship to food?
It was
It was
food.
just so crowded.
It was the food.
packed, you could not walk in there, it was so crowded.
I remember just from a debrief that happened in internal meeting, I remember hearing comments about not having sufficient food or.
Right, so the response was, they're gonna have 2 food trucks, so people can potentially get food
Correct.
at a different spot.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at what a great problem that is.
Oh, I love it. No, I'm very excited I actually prefer this event. I think it was great for the small businesses that we have. I'm just concerned with fire capacity, and I do think it was very crowded, and for safety reasons, I just wanted to make sure that we felt that was sufficient, that we were gonna have 2 food trucks and solve that issue. Yeah, I get why, because it was directly related to public health. But that was a large capacity, and I do think it was, I can't confirm, but I was the hostess for 5 hours, so it was quite packed. I think it was over capacity. So is there any monitoring of that?
I mean, I think we're only speaking of one location that day.
That day, it could be anyone.
The bid is not the enforcement arm for the capacity inside these businesses. It would have to be proactive on the businesses.
So can I just ask this question, and maybe that's just we ask staff, is it the fire chief that would, or the fire department that would inspect that?
They're the ones who know what the
Okay,
capacity
so
is,
maybe the fire
occupancy.
department just walks through during the event?
We could ask them, yeah, I can't commit
Right, because they're not
there's time that's, could be asked.
I think that's all I have. Yes.
I just have a question for Chief Nimmer, kind of along the same lines. I thought it was a great event, and brought my family and felt comfortable there, but obviously St. Patrick's Day is a big drinking holiday. What were there incidents with public intoxication, and it seemed to be a very civil event, but did you guys have issues that particular day with any of the businesses that participated in the event?
There were no police-related calls during the event.
Okay.
And I have a question about picnic tables. So we discussed this, and I don't remember what we decided last time, but did we charge for picnic tables?
We have not charged for picnic tables. I believe the discussion last time related to whether we should be pulling picnic tables
Yes.
from a public park for use at a private event.
Yes.
And that would
What did
not,
we decide last time?
last time we decided no, we would not do that. This is a little bit different case because it's a village-sponsored event because it's the bid. And also, we don't have picnic tables in the parks in March. It's the way it treats you.
Ah,
We're
okay, that makes
outside.
sense. So as long as you pull them in winter, okay, that makes sense. Good to know as we consider a special event policy at some point. Trustee Buckles.
Okay, I'm gonna vote yes for this, I don't think this will affect anyone else's decision, but it was an unseasonably warm day last year. If I remember correctly, and I think what was it, after the parklets were in play? I can't even remember.
Yes, the
Yeah,
park was
they
already
had
been
put 'em up.
installed. Didn't we change the date to after the stake?
Did we?
Correct.
April?
Yes, one park that was installed last year at the time, and it was part of a closed-off area anyways, and so I don't know that it was any advantage or disadvantage. They could put up tables, chairs, however the floor plan allows, so, but the board did vote to change that to April 1st. Parklets.
And then I had one last question, and it was the security guards. So last year, I don't know if it was this event or it was the soccer event, but we approved, I know the term, trustee Buckhorst doesn't like the term, but whatever it was private people in lieu of.
That's how they do. No, I'm just-
I think it was a soccer event, but in this one, it says 2 private, and that would be who's hiring those, and then 2 police officers.
The bid is going to do that. Last year, Three Lions, because last year was more of a partnership since it was the first event that I was ever involved in. And so yeah, they had some people there, but they really weren't serving that the best way in that capacity. So we're going to get guards, and I would like uniforms to prevent carry-ins and carry-outs just posted on both of the corners. And then I do have it in the budget to have 2 officers there as well that were there last year.
And what would they be doing?
They were,
Yeah. I'm just saying, because I thought.
I remember seeing them, I would talk to them every now and then and check in, but they're just among crowds?
Public presence.
Yeah.
Outside.
I mean, there's also, you know, third bill merchants and stuff.
Yeah.
It's great to have them there, that's some like,
You don't want to pay
Yeah.
for trailer service person.
yes, I mean, like, you know, an active care or something. Just having
Yes.
some of them there would, having them there would be beneficial.
Okay, does anyone else have any questions? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Also moved. I will decorate it.
Yep.
Mike, it looked like you were about to.
I move to approve the proposed Shorewood Shenanigans special permit short-term cabaret license and extension of premises for draft and vessel, common North Star Bistro, Thief Wines, and Three Lions Pub for Saturday, March 16th, 2019, as presented on the consent agenda.
Second.
Can I ask that a friendly amendment would be to add and request that, or ask staff to request the fire department to do a walkthrough? It doesn't mean they have to, but I do want, or maybe just note it in the minutes, and just for capacity issues. Could it just be noted as enough for?
Yeah.
Noted. Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Motion passes 6-1. Okay?
Great.
The next agenda item is a public hearing, which we have none of today. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to be heard on any topic? And if so, doesn't say that, I don't know if that's what we're doing anymore. Is it?
If we're not doing that. we
Oh,
want
I'm
to
sorry, I'm
fix
just
it.
on the wrong, I'm on the cheat sheet, okay, I'm sorry. The real one says that, okay. I'll fix that. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on a matter that is not on the agenda? Discussion may follow, comment on non-agenda items, or discussion and action may come at future meetings. Okay, seeing none, we will move on to new business. We'll consider a professional service agreement for the 2019 down meat vault replacement, rehabilitation, engineering, and inspection. Leanne?
Excuse me. So as you know, we've been talking for a couple of years, and it has been included in the long-range plan for funding for the replacement of the master meter pit located at Edgewood and Downer. As you know, we have two. The second is located at Edgewood and Oakland. The Downer location is our primary draw. It is our primary connection for water from Milwaukee Water Works. In fact, the vast majority of our water on a daily basis, 80 or 98 to 99%, comes through that singular location. The Oakland connection exists primarily for emergency or fire flow purposes. If the demand is great enough, Oakland will kick in, but that is a relatively rare occurrence. So the replacement of the subsurface structure that houses the two meters the meters of flow of the water purchased from the city of Milwaukee is necessary because that structure does not meet current safety standards. You previously approved an RFP for engineering services for that project. We had two responses. One was a team headed by Clark Dietz that included City Water. Both of those entities worked on some emergency repairs that we did in 2015, I believe it was, to the meter pit. The second response was submitted by Baxter and Woodman. That team is headed by Pat Planton, who some of you may recognize his name. He has been the lead consultant for the wholesale water group on our continuing and recurring rate cases with the city of Milwaukee. So he is familiar with the village of Shorewood, and staff has some familiarity with him. As you know, there was a pretty significant cost difference in the two proposals. And Under normal circumstances, I would not have made necessarily have made the recommendation to go with the greater cost proposal. But in this particular instance, I feel very strongly that Clark Dietz submitted the more detailed and more comprehensive proposal. There are very few parts of my job that I take as seriously as my role as the operator or superintendent of the Shorewood Waterworks. That is something that I take very seriously, our staff takes very seriously, because it is a critical service that we provide, perhaps the most critical service that we provide. And I feel very comfortable with the proposal that was submitted by the Clark Dietz team. I thought it was very comprehensive, very well detailed, very well thought out. They identified a number of concerns and critical contingencies. To be very candid, I think that the personnel at Baxter Woodman is certainly qualified to do this project, but I do not have the same level of comfort with the proposal that they submitted. I am not as comfortable, nor is my staff, with the hours that they have proposed for inspection on the project. This is our primary, if not only, drinking water connection. It seems reasonable to me that we would expect that there would be an inspector on this job every moment that construction was taking place. I would think that is something I would like to see and that we would like to ensure. Based on my understanding and reading of the Baxter Woodman proposal, they did not offer that.
Did we ask for that? I want to be clear that we gave equal opportunity. Did we specify how important inspection was? I know this has happened before with Clark Dietz, that we added inspection hours for them, so they probably had some insight that was very important to you. I just, was it specified in the, I didn't get the hyperlink, I apologize, I would have looked, but was it specified that inspection is very important, we want someone there every day? So we gave equal opportunity for that?
It was not stated in those words, no.
Okay. So when I apologize, but when I talk about evaluation criteria, it's, because we've worked with some of our wisdom because we had to add inspection hours for the last contract for Clark Dietz, I would assume that they had that knowledge is very important to us.
I would say that Clark Dietz does not, there's no connection between the Lake Drive project on this.
I understand.
I think that the team that Clark Dietz put together has a very good understanding of this project and the complexities of it. And I believe that is why they offered the level of service that they did.
Okay. And last time, we just added hours to the contract. Could we do the same if we wanted to go with the other contractor? So in other words, I remember you saying inspection was very important. We wanted someone there full time. So you staff added it to the contract that we selected?
We did recommend that last time. My takeaway from that meeting was that the board's feeling on that was, that staff proposal was very mixed. And I did not do that in this particular case.
Or could we?
You could. You can do anything as a proposal.
I'll just, and then I'll move on. But when we do RFPs, it's, if we have a specific engineering service that we value more, if we could say that so both people can respond, it would be helpful. What we're evaluating, what's the biggest, because cost, if we had a matrix, cost is much higher and inspection level is much greater, which is great. So it's a bad and a good. I don't know how they're equaling out to come up with who to recommend. Besides that, there's a confidence level. So some sort of more impartial criteria. Trustee Martin.
I read over both proposals, and Clark Dietz definitely expressed a deeper understanding of our system. Plus, they were heavily involved in the analysis with our connection to the North Shore waters. And they understand the pressure gradients in the system. And if we have a problem with this pit and there's some disruption, they're gonna have the contingencies in place supply us with water, any type of disruption. Like when city of Milwaukee had a problem down on Downer the other, you know, they cut the water off for the village. Just any disruption is critical to the village, so.
But would the other firm also have that capability? You're not sure?
They were not involved in the earlier lengthy study on our analysis of going with another water supply, so they were
I
familiar
think
with
that
that.
the hours, and literally hundreds of hours that these firms have already put in on system projects, you know, is definitely to our benefit.
I'm gonna vote no on the recommendation if that's the motion, just because I would like to see eventually some criteria, and I say it each time, so I'll just keep voting no.
I move approval of the professional services request deeds in the amount of $70,160 for design, engineering, and construction inspection services related to the Downer meter valve rehabilitation replacement project.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none,